We're going to tune in and start this KARTA time 2019. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gure Name, Jugat Gure Name, Sad Gure Name, Siri Gurudev Name. Ad Gure Name, Jugat Gure Name, Sad Gure Name, Siri Gurudev Name. Ad Gure Name, Jugat Gure Name, Sad Gure Name, Siri Gurudev Name. So, I just landed from an amazing trip. I was about 40 days transition from last year to this year. We went investigate Yucatan. This is the land of the Mayan tradition, and it was just so interesting to be among the pyramids of stone, speaking about that amazing civilization that has been totally disappearing after thousands of years of expansion. Yes, this is the discovery of people before us who has been very, very deep into the sense of how to live collectively happy life, and what was the cost of that as a group consciousness. They were living by big cities. There were amazing people, 90,000 people in the jungle, living effectively, and could develop commerce and exchanges and development. So they had the key access to sacred geometry, and they had tradition really on the edge of what life is. And I think when I discovered that they were playing this ancestor game of the basketball today, but in those times it was a matter of life or death. The people who were playing this game were privileged people. They were selected because of birth and specific qualities and all that. And they were opening a game to bring blessings from the universe, or to be grateful for the blessings they've got as a whole community. And then the people will play against each other like almost a war game with this ball, and only the captain would be able to bring the ball into the basket. And the one who wins was supposed to be the one who gonna be offered his life for the community. So this is nothing to do with cruel sacrifice and old rituals of primitive people. I guess it was an amazing advanced ritual where they would, people willingly offer their life for the community. So I don't want to enter details about all this and this philosophy, but it just shows that human beings have been through many years and thousands of years expanding community life into civilization. And when they reach sort of epicenter, maximum expansion, they would dissolve. And to witness this history over there, still ruins in the jungle, but showing the character of their amazing power of work, amazing dedication, amazing organization, and knowledge about numbers, harmonies, and synchronicity with the universe make me thought of where are we in our civilization. And today it seems like we're also reaching an epi place where things seems to be now locked and limited, and more and more people are facing a situation that are almost impossible. So it's very, very interesting to see how today we can face this world and the time. And for me, definitely it is a time to resurrect, and it is a time to elevate. I think I said in my forecast December that I put 2019 as a 10 because definitely this was going around what is the gift, what we can anticipate, what is going to bring for our essence. And of course, as a total, if you add the 2 of 2019, it turns into a 3, which is infinite potential. So if you combine the two, you have this equation that facing pressure and of the extreme, 0 and 1, and bringing you facing a wall of impossibilities, you have two solutions where you want to break the wall, react, and fight, and then you have the expression of frustration, anger, and disillusion because you were having a dream, and this dream brought you to a limitation that is unbearable. So the other option is elevate, 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 and realize this wall is just a non-reality. It was just there meant for us to change frequency, change level of perception. And at the moment you change your level of perception, you realize that what was an impossibility was actually a trampoline for expansion, for creativity, for opening many, many more opportunity as soon as you are ready to drop and let go what brought you to this wall. So I think we are entering this place now where all our civilization, all the attributes of comfort, development, advanced countries, all the image of the ideal life in our civilization where we don't have to fight weather condition, where we are always having shelters and comfortable life for a big majority of people all over the world. We don't understand how can we lose that privilege. If you analyze what we consume with the expansion and explosion of the demography, we are, if we want to manage this planet in the next 30 years, we need to diminish the level of consuming things by 6, something like that, which is enormous. And the perspective to go back to simple life is right in front of us. And it doesn't mean simple life means losing comfort and easiness. I think it's the opposite. When I was in that jungle, I could see that the people were living there in the middle of the jungle. They had their comfort, they had their harmony, and they were able to manage with the elements. I think we are so far from nature today that we are afraid to go back to simple condition. But it could happen. If not, we should, in our spirit at least, willingly open ourselves to say, yes, I'm ready to consume much less of non-renewable energy and see how we can develop other ways to create a comfortable life on this planet when we all have been provided by so many resources that are renewable, and we could now consciously research and find application in this domain where we could create new conditions of life. But this will necessitate that we are flexible, that we may have to move from the place we are, maybe to stop and interrupt dreams that we had with our families and our location and the attachment we have to our local region, that maybe we need to move. So I think the new generation, they are already on moving. There are people much more flexible and not so attached to customs and locality. But those who are in the middle, people between the 40s and 60s today, have a hard time to face the necessity of change. And I think this is scary. This is a growing unfair situation where you feel you're given your trust and you're given your sweat and willingness into companies or into small businesses or into enterprise, where you see that all of a sudden it loses its market, it loses its possibilities, and the whole global system doesn't support you, and you can't continue. So there are many facets to impossibilities. There are impossibilities in families, there are impossibilities in relationship, there are impossibilities in finance, and there are impossibilities in so many levels. So for me, when you start seeing impossibilities, you can realize, okay, I am based on my projection, my dream, my hope to succeed in this life with what I've learned and what was my tradition, my culture, my upbringing. And today, I need to reconsider all that. If you consider to fight against the change and the move and what you may lose, you're going to waste a lot of creative energy. And instead of that is, if you accept that you need to be flexible and you need to find other solutions because the system is reaching an end, and you cannot put the blame on people who are leaders or entrepreneurs or leading big companies because they have been following the same hallucination. We're all in the same hallucination, and we're all reaching the end of that hallucination. So solution is for each of us now to grow in consciousness. So we're going to go with the mutation. It's a very, very deep sense of transformation. It's not just change the outside. We need to elevate ourselves in frequency. And this is what 40 years ago, I have anticipated. And I knew that the one I was in those times will not be able to cross the time if I remain the same guy with the same culture and the same belief system and all these attachments. And through the time, I was dedicating my life to open conscious living, access people to a conscious way of living. And a conscious way of living doesn't mean to be aware of the defection, like the massive pollution, the massive abuse of our resources and all that stuff doesn't make you more aware. The awareness is like, what are my possibilities today to change my reality in my own life, and to decide where I invest my energy and how can I create a new development in my life and not consider that I'm limited, I'm stuck, and this is the fault of circumstances. We are never a victim of circumstances, never. And when pressure comes in our life, this is always to be welcome, to grow. Pressure is helping us to change level of frequency. Pressure is not a mistake. It has happened so many times on this planet. When you think of the disparition of the dinosaur and how many times a human being in his evolvement had to face glacier periods and change on this planet, that lands that were not there start to appear, and the opening of continent. I mean, so many changes have been going on this planet. And now we are living such a long time without major earthquake, I would say, symbolically, that we feel we are now going directly into a major earthquake, a general earthquake. And how are we going to face that change? So I think there is no need for fear and then spreading the anxiety and all that type of things. We are qualified. If we are the people of today, we are qualified to face the change. We just need to let go our sense of limitation and attachment to how it should be better with what we are now. It is not going to be better with the way we are now. This is definitely sure. We do not need to improve our cleverness and our understanding of the circumstances. We need to face the time and take this challenge to elevate our point of view. Not free ourselves from pressure, but use the pressure to grow and expand our scope. And this, for this, we can access that possibilities, opening up our intuition and creativity. We can create our day in a most conscious way from first moment where we choose how we choose to wake up, what kind of frequency we resonate and we spread through this world. If your intention is to really elevate your quality as a human being, that's why we used to practice sadhana for so many, many years. Wake up before the time where your ego wake up and start to see the world for different eyes. This is a habit to see the world with different eyes than just my urge and my limited perception of reality, and start to see from a more generous and much wide scope. So that's why infinite possibilities are coming to us if we look in that direction of possibilities beyond impossibilities. You remember in the teacher's role, we used to say a teacher in relationship to the student is to give him an impossible task, and the student is to realize this impossible task. And therefore, he will meet with this unlimited capacity of the soul. I guess the whole humanity today is facing a major teacher who put us into a major test of learning. And as a whole humanity, we need to learn to grow our consciousness, our awareness into another level. And all impossibilities that are presenting into our life are creating a pressure for us not to escape, not to find small solution in our corner or immediate answers, not to react to that, but rather to say, oh, how can I expand my perception? And this you need to raise your frequency. That's why exactly Kundalini is so precious today. Kundalini was always to reset your frequency, to reset your rhythm, to open all the different level of consciousness through each chakra and open up these eyes where you can see beyond duality, beyond limits. So today it's not a philosophy, it's not a religion, we don't need other belief system. We need to effectively be in the being. Be, not to do, not to have, as a priority and the urge, but rather the urge is to be, to be, to be. That is letting go of all this pressure of what should I do, how can I change, where I'm going to go. Drop this whole thing, just apply to be. And to be is in your breath, as I say in December. This short exercise was for you to come back, to reset yourself and just be in touch with your own breath and become aware again and not lost into all the temptation, distraction for delusion, be attached to the past thing you may lose today, and rather to see that your potential is still very, very big. We did not even start to be a fully human being. So we have so much to explore, so much to develop. And we will find a way together. This is the voice, you know. Impossible for us, make us infinite, unlimited. And then find this infinite possibility we have together on this planet to share what was given to us. So I think this is my message to enter this year. If it is a year of infinite possibilities, and it is a year to face limitation and impossibilities. So you see how you take this challenge will make the whole unfolding of your reality. It will unfold in a expansion, not about having or not about doing, but you will expand into the being. So I think this is a very, very strong message for me. Don't fall into battle, because that's a temptation, fight to maintain some right or to defend causes that are not from our, I would say, responsibility. Consciousness, awareness bring you to a level of responsibility that is just right with who we are. We are not responsible for how this planet is twittering in the universe for billions of years. We are not responsible for the major changes, even climate changes, and we realize we have such a big impact in the climate. We are nothing compared to what this planet can change according to our journey in the space. And maybe all that happened are going to happen beyond anything we can do. So it's not about changing a little bit of our condition that will change the change that is happening. So we don't need to go against the change. We need to grow in consciousness and awareness, and by the action we put every day, which are conscious action coming from us being who we are, means being unlimited, then our choices will change, everything will come into the place, and if outside changes will occur, we'll just be ready to face these changes. So anyway, there can be changes so massive that we cannot control. This is another collective pride that we fell in. We thought that we can control the weather, we can control the river, the ocean, and everything. And actually, even though we have polluted all that, we have absolutely no power to change what's going on. But we can adapt to that. We can make it every day more conscious living, and to see the consequence of our living unconsciously. We can start cleaning our stuff and recycling our stuff, and start to be extremely aware. Even though we do that, it might not change the change, if you see what I mean. So our spacey is at the door, a portal of radical change within our DNA, within our structure, the way we see human beings. And we can only accept that change, but bring awareness, bring consciousness, bring the being into a daily life. And that's the enormous step we can do. And not to be entangled in this reactive personality that want to fight and keep the privilege that we have fought for so many years, to live a comfortable life to the cost that is unbearable today. So that is for me this month. We need to elevate our frequency, elevate our consciousness, elevate our perspective, how we see what is impossible, and discover that behind that wall are infinite possibilities for us to grow in ways we never imagined before. And this is my message. Don't fight the wall, elevate, take altitude, and see new possibilities coming out of all this impossible world. I'm very happy to share that message, and I guess it will exalt your heart and your spirit, that you will find yourself not limited and not locked up, but rather now forced to open up to new possibilities. Possibilities we could not imagine so far, until it was always possible to do more. We were in that civilization where we could produce more, expand more, make more money, increase the income all the time, and the global netto was increasing, and we understand today that this cannot go on forever this way. So infinite possibilities doesn't come necessarily by increasing the production and the doing. It will come from a place where we can be quiet, peaceful, very present, and totally in the being. So I think that's the shift we are expecting. The connection you will do is with your true self. What we call the true self is when the self in you make you see infinite possibilities in any circumstances beyond time and space. So you see, this is a crisis of consciousness. It's a crisis about how to be. And I think that's why the yoga in its real roots and the traditional yoga is becoming so important today, and people underestimate how powerful it could be for each one of us to use the yoga not as a stretching methodology, but a way to bring our presence as an individual in full awareness, this unlimited presence of who we are. And to share that in resonance with each other will increase the global frequency on this planet. And we could then imagine another world, another reality. So yoga is first place for me. We don't need beliefs. A belief is to create a distance between you and the object of your beliefs. So we cannot continue to run after object. You understand? We need to enter the being. When we feel aggression, or we feel sick, when we feel rejecting this world, this is the process of elimination of our atavism. We are in ourselves, the memory of ourselves, what we receive from our ancestors is a lot of information that today we need to somehow betray. That means you can't follow the loyalty to your ancestor. You can only answer their hope that we will make it better. But they didn't find it. And as the circumstance of time and space has totally changed, the message they gave us is obsolete. And we have a hard time, we feel totally insecure and almost sick to betray that subliminal message, that subconscious message of our ancestor. But we need to cut, we need to let go, we need to abandon. That's what we did the whole last year. And those who are late and didn't take the train, it is still the time to do it. You can only make yourself lighter and higher when you drop, you abandon the attachment of traditions that have been so dear to us. You see, Christmas time is going in many ways. So many other traditions are falling apart. It's not they were wrong and they were bad, that anything that would limit us today will have to go. So this is hard. This is when you face it personally, it's very hard to let go. And the sense of betraying your ancestor is also very hard to accept and go beyond their belief system, how they wanted you to be in a box that gave them security, comfort, and a sense of spirituality. All this is gonna fall apart. The house of spirituality is the whole planet today. It is not an isma. You know, we don't have to follow this big system of belief because it have helped humanity through time. People will group in isma. There was many religion and belief system who were helping the group consciousness when the human being could join together in a belief and sing the same song. For many years, it was inspiring, helping, organizing society, and giving people a place. Today, this is not the case. Everyone is absolutely an individual by himself, and he cannot correlate to any sort of ism as a global identity. It's going. So all this war has to stop one day or another, because we have to abandon the idea to manifest a secure space for human being as a group in a small location based on beliefs. Is not going to go. So I think this, the transformation we are facing, and we're just entering, I was saying, this 7 years period is going to be very intense about this letting go attachment. It is not denying what the ancient have believed. It is not doubting about their faith and their realization. It's just about to be responsible for who we are today as individuals, and we can't draw lines between each other. This planet is too small today. We are all one humanity, and we need to accept to move in that scope, in leaving our local privilege in some very specific location. Can be a business, can be a place where you live, can be whatever country you believe has a border. This is all going. This is all going. We are one humanity, and we're going to rise above limitation. And this is the way we are going. So we can, one sickness is we cannot eliminate. This apana function I was saying, apana needs to be reactivated. We cannot transform our garbage, nuclear garbage. We produce so many garbage, and we don't know how to transform that. So personally and individually, we have the same stuff. We're going to be sick of things we are taking and taking and taking and not able to transform and eliminate properly. So many, many areas of life will change. That's what I see. And today, a little practice to make you centered, to make you spread your balance, your peace, your harmony that you develop within yourself, connecting your infinite potential with your limited self, and guiding yourself into a presence with other people to spread a message of resonance and harmony. This you can contribute to increase the frequency on this planet. And I think it's the responsibility of each of us who understand that we can't believe in limitation, we can't believe in blocks and move into aggression and fight. That is not the way for me. I think there are many, many other ways, and fighting is creating the duality more tangible, more real. That's another illusion. We're not going to solve anything by fighting. So this is what I suggest for this month is a posture I used to give in level 2, which was like a classic practice. It's a very simple kriya where you have your arms on the side and you start flying like a bird nicely without, it's almost you feel effortless. You go with the prana, you inhale, exhale, up and down, very nicely. And we're going to use I like this mantra, is going over vicious cycle, the satanama. I think this is the ending and resurrecting. So satanama, I like this very much. And you have this tantric satanama from Niranjan Kaur, you know, this... and then you fly with that mantra and you can eventually sing it along. And you go for 14 minutes. It will just really open and move your magnetic field, move the polarity and balance your masculine and feminine, the sun and moon energy, the Ida Pingala, and pulse the energy in a nice rhythm. And with the mantra, you're going to make everything again a circle. And nothing is broken, nothing is impossible. There is not a wall, there is not a limit, there is not an ending. There is just moving through a cycle that will bring us to the other side. So Satanama, up and down, breathe in and out. 14 minutes, and after that you join the two palms over your head as a sort of a Maha prayer, just above your head. Bring your spine very straight, bring your shoulder high, open the chest, and close your eyes and meditate. Bringing the polarity into oneness is going to make you immerse yourself in the oneness. This is the 0-1, where you dissolving your sense of separation in the 0, join the oneness of your spine, of your spirit, and the connectedness with all spirit on this planet. All soul are one anyway. So, and then I choose this song of Gurudas about Rama. It's the longing to belong, the CD of Guru Das Singh and KARTA, they were singing Rama, which is another Satanama Rama way to bring sun and moon together and bring you into this oneness of the universe where nothing is limited and we are not stuck. We are just facing a revolution cycle where we need to grow. So this is the idea of this Kriya. This will be another 11 minutes, and you have it for a whole month. A very good practice to do when you start the day. Satanama Rama, another way to practice it. So maybe now I'm going to move into some of the questions that are correlating to the theme of this month. And this is that those of you who've sent me a few questions, here we are. So I mentioned that I was in my previous KARTA time talking about 2019 being a 10 and why it's not a 3. So I just explained it a little bit before. So the cycle of 7 years, these are a cycle of consciousness. And based on the Mayan calendar, you remember the 2012 was a very specific figure. I'm not entering details why they find it out, but I think we all have sensed it, and it has some reality in our world today. And I think being there, I verified that their sense of astronomy and geometry was very, very accurate. So, and the experience I had since December 2012 is completely in the flow of what they were describing the end of the old world, and this is passing into a new humanity. So I think now 2019 is 7 years already we are, and that was the time to let go all what we knew about the past and our foundation and what was how we create that civilization, and now is the time to move on and to imagine, have this vision, let the vision come to us. If we change our frequency, we start to see possibilities we've never seen before. And then we, of course, need to, with the 3, we need to move into action. We need to see that the minute I put my consciousness behind an idea that we never had before, I'm going to start to find means to manifest it. And this is really the job we need to do. The people who are more pioneers in this time now is take action from your intuition and see how much the resource come to you. That is a sign that you are participating into creating the new. If the means do not come to you, that verifies that you didn't pick up the right intuition, and you have to investigate more, meditate more, and let your body tells you what is the right vision. So this was one question. Another question is also about being blocked. Now it is about relationship. You know, this is between two sisters, and this is Karen who wrote that. Between two sisters, they have a block. They cannot communicate anymore, and the other sister didn't agree with her. So you see, this is a very typical manifestation of the time at the level of families. In families, we don't need to agree. In the old time, there was the authority, there was the grandfather, there was the father, there was the mother authority. Everyone has to follow. It was all regulated and everything. Today it's all gone. Children do what they want. But still, between brother and sister and between members of the family, there are disagreements. Obviously, people are attached to the old, people are progressive, people have changed their fidelity and their loyalty to the family sort of coherence. And you're going to have this split coming in between sisters and brothers. That's one way the blocks are manifesting. So, first rule is I said it already, we have the right to disagree. This was not part of our culture before. We should be all unified, all united, and we should believe what the minority that has the power decide, and we need to follow. Today, each individual has the right to say, no, I don't agree with my father, and this is terrible. This is terrible for the father, who kind of loses sense of fatherhood and authority and establishment. I did it, I went through it, and then you have your children saying, no, I don't agree with you. So how are you going to take that and still give a space for your children to grow, still support them, still accept that they might live and go into a world you will not be part of it? And what do you know from your experience that will really help them today? As the time accelerates, you cannot know. So if there is a block and opposition, it shows a place where both of us has to let go something. So I think all this attachment to the authority image and all has to go. And between sisters, if one disagree with you, of course, she has the right to disagree. Now, if she blocked the communication, if she turned her back to you and she doesn't want to call you back, you may nourish the relationship by trying to call her, and then she sees and doesn't want to answer you, or you can write her emails or whatever. And if there is no answer back, the rule is you have left the door open. You have showed a sign that you are not in agreement, but you have not closed the door. And the person who closed the door, because for her it is impossible to even conceive that you are like this, she will need the time to process, and that the person who closed the communication has to come back. And if you are clear in your message to say, my door is open, I will always be there for you, and whenever you decide to communicate with me, I will be there. And I think this is the only thing you can do. Keep the door open. And those who have closed the door, give them the space to process, to transform. So this is my advice. No point to put the judgment and the guilt on yourself or on anyone. You have the right to disagree, and you have the right to stand for who you are. And if the other one cannot tolerate that, she will process it. Start now. And pray for her. Just stay with it, Send her good vibes. If you know that sisterhood cannot be broken, it's not by a thought, a beliefs, or that you can break that bond. If you keep nourishing that you are in connection with your sister, and you send your blessing and thought of light and healing rays, it will solve one day or another. But anyway, it's not in your hand. That's what I'm saying, you understand? When we face impossible and blocked situation, it's not in your hands trying to change it. This is already making worse. Accept what it is and stand for who you are. Maintain your frequency and expand your love, expand your embrace. Yeah? Embrace even those who disagree with you. And that's the way to go for me. This is the way I would do. So, yeah, another person says from Russia, I think. She's a sort of a gypsy in life. She's 35 and she has been traveling many, many places. And now she's kind of feeling exhausted from this traveling, and she doesn't even find a place to sleep. And where can I fulfill my mission, realize my potential? So I think this is a traditional story, a Sufi story, where some student of learning the path of enlightenment were looking for a master, and after they went through a long journey around the planet, they came back to the first tree and the first person they met, and they realized the teaching was there, the teacher was there, and they had everything in hand. So I think, but without doing the journey, we would not realize that. So I think you are now ready to come into yourself, meet with yourself, go back to grow your roots somewhere, and stop traveling and create the reality you want to see in this world. You have enriched your scope and your vision by visiting many places. Now is the time that your seed stops somewhere and you anchor the soul intention. This is not like big mission. It has to be just a human mission, that I am here to connect with the heaven and bring that energy into the earth and create something where I am with my talent, my skills, my know-how. Whatever you have can be very humble, but put yourself in motion in some place and invest yourself in small things, and step by step it will expand again. But you will not have to go. It will expand around you. So I suggest that effectively you stop somewhere, doesn't matter really where you are called now to be, and in that place start now gradually to invest yourself in communication with others and pick up something you can offer to the world, and then start to create that. So that's my advice. Stop traveling. It is the time. Anchor your soul intention. You will find it in some place. Connect to the earth, and then bring your skills. It's about the yogic attitude. Many people who start spiritual paths are in the positive thinking, and this is Marianne. But they don't take responsibility to change a bad situation. So we can walk away from, do we then fight? And how do we protect ourselves? Do we fight back? Do we accept to be bullied? How do we prepare to fight? How do we become stronger against bullies? Definitely we have to stand for who we are, and if people are slandering you, trying to put pressure on you and force you, or speaking bad about you or betraying you, in a way you have to consider that it is part of your reality, that these people are not something foreigner to you, but they are part of your magnetic field. So you have attracted it in one way or another. And definitely the way of fighting is not the idea. The way is to realize, how do I manifest such a strong opposition to me? And this is a part of your inner duality you were not aware. And I'm not telling these people are not responsible for what they say, but this is their business, you understand? You have to consider the situation is your situation. And you're facing a situation where you generate opposition against you. So this is a part of you that is unknown. It manifests through people who disagree, who want to attack you, who want to bully you. It's all okay. The question is, how are you going to see where is your inner duality? Of course, you don't need to fight and protect yourself, because more you fight and more you want to protect yourself, more you give a reality to that opposition. I went through this time myself, and I learned the lesson very, very deep, that whatever opposition you create was part of your own consciousness. And you need to absorb that, you need to digest that, you need to transform that energy, which is an inner duality you were not aware. And when you see it, this is a moment of enlightenment, I would say. At that moment, you don't see it this way. It's a moment where you are very dark and you see things that are really limiting you in yourself. And you say, I was not aware of that. So you need to go deep in that and see. The minute you can embrace that part in you that generates that duality, in your space, then these enemy, they stay for who they are. They will not stop from one day to another, but you will find a space where you are free from their attack. You will not be the target of their attack anymore, because you're not nourishing the position that created that. Do you understand? So you cannot disappear, you cannot protect, you cannot fight, you just have to meditate. Meditate inside and enter the feeling it gives you to be attacked. And look inside you, where was the fear that you had to be attacked from such a way? And find the place of a very weak person that needed maybe recognition, needed all kinds of things. You will discover inside you where there was a big fear. And when you can embrace that fear and accept that you had it and you have created that opposition because you have misbehaved, you have presented yourself in a way that people could not accept that from you, this is their story. They may have reacted, but you cannot resolve this for them. All you can do is work within yourself and resolve it with yourself. So embrace and discover how you were split inside you, where was the fear that make you separate, and how some unconsciously you manifest outside you forces that seems to attack you. And when you don't go for the battle, but just maintain yourself, ignore the attack, and start entering yourself, meditate, and embrace that part, it will change the reality. It takes a little time, remember that. To create such a situation, it took you probably few years. It will take you a little time when you change your attitude inside, when you start embracing and get out of the shame and guilt and start to embrace and forgive yourself within yourself. Everything will fall in place if you're patient and consistent with forgiving yourself and seeing very clearly where you have been cutting yourself in two parts and where was the major fear you tried to cover, you tried to hide, that now comes up to the surface and that you can finally embrace and dissolve. So that's my advice. Yeah, question is about true self and relationship to the truth. And this is Claudia Cuver that she says, what's true and what is illusion? And then she take the example of a relationship, and she felt she had love, compassion, understanding, but then the relationship become difficult again. And the question was, I think the deal is how far I go in nourishing a relationship and trusting and being open to a relationship where there are impossibilities and there are difficulties and there are obstruction and obstacles, and when should I decide now it's not worth it anymore, I'm just abused by maybe this empath abuse relationship, and where I am the object of abuse in a way. So how far should I go? So for me, one principle is when any situation you decide to see the true side of it, come out of the illusion, you will see that that situation make you grow effectively. You can feel, you can see, you feel your limit, you feel your fear, you feel your frustration, and then you go into that, you accept that, and you realize there was something in you that is not based on guilt and shame and limitation or feeling that I'm not good enough or self-worth, nothing like this. Just I felt my limitation and I just can embrace it and expand and grow. So as long as the mirror between your partner and you is about you growing, becoming aware of how you limit yourself, and not subject yourself to any attack of the other one or anything, any abuse, but rather just to see, wow, I have discovered a limitation within me and I can solve it and expand, then you know that relationship is healthy. The moment in the mutual relationship there is not that respect, and then the other person start to manipulate or ask you, being demanding, or with aspects that are limiting you, then I would ask myself twice, really, if this is worth it. Because you should never subject yourself to anybody, especially the people you consider to love. Because if you love somebody and that person loves you, that person doesn't want you to be limited. This is not compatible. This is not working together. So I think today I'm not speaking anymore in a type of relationship, but I'm more opening the field of what I call partnership. A partnership makes two partners responsible of their reality and not depending on each other. So it's the interdependence, it's not codependence. So when I love you doesn't mean you are now attached to me and are dependent on me, or there is a conditional space where you should stay with me forever. So no, the space should remain open. We don't have to stay physically together in the same place. We have to admit that each of us will grow and expand, and this is unpredictable how and in which proportion each of us will grow, and we need to be prepared to support that journey. So when we enter partnership, they need a level of maturity and freedom with yourself, where you know you're responsible, you know that the other one is responsible. You put your energy in common from the soul, and you see the perspective that each of you will support mutually, encourage, support, and expand the other person development. That is a partnership where you will not ask yourself, should I continue, should I stop? Because you are from day one free and committed. So this is a different approach. I think you have to revise your value system of each of you and see what are the base value of your partner, what does he put first and priority, and what are your value. And I guess when you have decided about values yourself, you know how to evaluate the situation, that if the other one respects your value, there is no problem. If the other one forces you on his value, or he doesn't see that your value make you unlimited, there will be a problem. There will be a problem. So I think revise these fundamental things, which are value and priority you have in life, that can be different, but they should be compatible. And it's not necessary that you feel good with somebody. There are some facets where it is okay, but actually values are not compatible, and then you will come into a limitation between you. As one person is unlimited with her value, you are unlimited with your value, but when you put them together, there is a sense of limitation, or one will limit the other one. If this is the case and you feel frustrated, then you have to revise and be clear and accept that maybe it is incompatible. We cannot necessarily make a relationship out of anybody. This is not true. And we don't have to. We don't have to. We can be friends. There are many types of relationship. But what you're talking about, it seems to be like a relation for life. And this has to be well prepared, and the ground well prepared. So if there's this basic acceptance and compatibility of your value system, then you have a future. Then synergy and resonance will appear, and there will be days where it doesn't resonate, but you know fundamentally you will not come to a clash. If some values are in opposition, then you cannot know if one day it will be impossible to accept that. So this is my advice for you about relationship and what is an illusion, what is real. When you have your basic values, you can always evaluate what is true for you and what it is feeding your values and it is keeping you unlimited. This is what is true for you. And what is an illusion is when you force yourself to believe things that you didn't choose. No, that's not real. Okay, so this was Balwant Kaur. Now we have Maren that says, a lot of fear in my existence. How can I have the energy to go through the challenges of my life? My mother died and live alone, so I'm such afraid. My friend left me, and how can I support myself? I have very negative thoughts about myself. The fear to become like the mother and all that stuff, you know. And maybe I cannot bring anything to the world. So, Maren, that cannot be. Everyone that is having life here have been wanted by this universe. Life has been given to you. You don't buy it to the corner shop, you know. And you are not an exception. So you have to reassure yourself and realize, no, I'm perfectly good the way I am. I have all the attributes and qualities as human being. I have no limitation, and nobody can make me believe this, even not my mind, you know. And then your trick is, what tricks you is your mind. Because you let these thoughts go and you identify to and say, I think like this is me, and it's just your mind. So I think there is a lack of frequency in what you express. You express a tone of voice that looks like a victimized. I am a victim of circumstance. I'm a victim of the negative mind. I'm a victim of that I lost my mother and everything. No. Life takes away many things. Parents, children, situations. Just again to help you to grow, not to take it like a burden and say, oh, poor me, I got this whole thing. No. You are blessed to face challenges, and from that you will find your strengths. So look into the situation more like a blessing that you are free. You have nothing on your back. You have the whole future in front of you. And of course, too many possibilities looks like impossible. And that's your impossibility for you, is that you cannot choose, you cannot direct yourself, you cannot embrace yourself, love yourself, support yourself. And this is part of the handicap we all have. We used to relate to the family club, to the belief system or group of ethnic people, and then we thought we are done. Today you are alone. That is exactly your situation. There's nobody to confirm, to affirm that who you are. And you have to face that empty space, which is an amazing space of freedom. So I invite you to look at that space of void today, which is empty, where you have no reference anymore, it's all gone. You have nobody to talk to, you have nobody that can support you, and you have been sent back to yourself. So I invite you to find yourself, talk to yourself, support yourself, practice, and maybe go and meet with people who are doing the same. You know, many people today come to yoga because they have to face that empty space. And finally, they support each other, growing and discovering infinite potential of creativity. Again, it's not about big ideas, a big philosophy, a big belief system that's going to help you to grow. Is by starting small action, small step, one by one. Trusting that you can support yourself one day at a time, and every day again. Choose for strong values and not following things that come from outside, but from within yourself. Um, if a friend left you, this is the image that the most important side of you, which is your friend, which is your higher self, you have been disconnected from that. That's the image of what happened. So you need to reconnect with your higher self, reconnect with who you really are. And this is in you. You can just make this meditation, bring your hands above your head and just meditate on the grace that the universe is bringing you inspiration, blessings, so you will meet the right circumstances where you can express who you are, your talent, your infinite capacity in a simple way, in a very simple way. So this is like the idea of being success, not wanting to be successful by a realization outside of you, but enter the senses. I am the most beautiful creation of the divine. Now the whole universe have created me as a perfection. So I am success. You understand? I'm the success of the universe. I'm a human being. So when you embrace that I am the success of the universe and feel that, accept that and feel it. And when you're going to feel that you are success, you don't need to be fool enough to wanting success outside. You already start from a success place, that you are success by yourself. And then your gifts are coming up and you will find a way to express yourself and become your best friend. That's the best advice. I am my own best friend. When you can cultivate that relationship with yourself and says, I love myself, I appreciate myself, I appreciate the universe giving me all opportunities and what I need. If you start meditating with that, you will manifest exactly what you are thinking. Remember that. If you keep on saying, oh, I'm separate, I'm alone, my friend left me, then you're going to be alone, separate, and see the world is separate from you. So if you become your best friend, you have a relationship, and you appreciate what the universe gives you, a breath, a life, everything you need, and start to manifest in your life. Yeah? So this is for Maren. And a few more now. Yeah, this is we. How to connect to yourself when it is busy all around you and you feel pressure in yourself while you are working. Is it best to do a short daily practice, little breath exercise? Will it work? Short meditation? So I think you should watch back the KARTA time of December. I gave this breath of 7, Satanama Rama Rama. This is a very short exercise that is very, very efficient with the breath and the long inhale, long exhale, and holding the breath out. I think this can be done the whole year. So these are tips for when you are in the busy time and when you are under pressure and you feel you lose track and you can't find your center again. You can just, take a little break, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and do this breath and see how it immediately calm down, immediately change your rhythm and bring you into a sense of presence, being here, and much more peaceful. So definitely small exercise of breath you can do in the toilet of your company when you're in a busy day. Just escape for a minute and 5 minutes and do a practice like this. It will really bring you into a total different space. I always say, keep your nervous system strong, your glandular system young. In the time we are facing today, we need that. So, of course, abuse of sugar and all these kind of things will not help your nervous system, but rather ginger tea with lemon can help you to go through the day with strengthening your nerves, and with the breath, you will be okay. So I think this is most of our questions for today. I'm gonna slowly finish this KARTA time. I just want to share with you some information. I'm gonna dedicate this year time to travel for Soma Tantra. You know, this tantric tradition was originally supposed to be spread and help the planet and people on the planet to grow. I'm practicing this Soma gathering since many years, more than 15. And today I step in choosing to orient the practice into the tantric field, because I think it is necessary today, where people need to gather the soul and for a same purpose, which is the purpose of realign your frequency, your inner rhythm with the rhythm of the universe, and let go and dissolve the subconscious energy that is not aligned with your soul purpose. So this was why I call it Soma Tantra, because orientation of the exercise is in that direction, that we help you now to reset your inner rhythm, and that's the focus of the different practice. Of course, it will be applied in many fields, of like daily life. But how to apply consciousness in the daily life when your energy can be realigned. So that's the Soma Tantra, and I think it's more than 16 this year. So I'm going to travel, and I'm going to meet with you physically in presence, and to share that expertise I still have, and a few more years to share with you, and give you the opportunity to go beyond what is limiting you, or your view, or your situation where things are blocked and unsolvable. So when you solve it within you energetically, then the life starts to open, and you back into the baraka. What we call baraka is this internet, spiritual internet, where the energy flow between everyone who you can meet and attract to support your life purpose, your soul purpose. So it's about love, it's about light, and it's about life. And this is Tantra Soma. So we will have first time in Le Martinet in August, following True Men and Women of Joy, which is like working on the polarity of the energy, feminine and masculine in both gender, having 3 days of celebration, dance, singing, and 6-hour Soma Tantra every day for 3 days in Le Martinet. So since we have this beautiful dome and the fireplace, and we have landscaped the hill behind it in nice levels, and a sort of a circus where we can really face the sky, the mountain, the river flow, and celebrate. So we want to open that place to that practice. We didn't want to do a festival but the family are invited, children will be taken care, there will be like a children camp on the side. This is what we wanted, but the adults will be able to concentrate 6 hours of the day into very strong practice that we want to dedicate to the planet for elevation of consciousness of everyone, inspiration and peace. So this is a great event, 16, 17, 18 of August in Le Martinet. If you're interested to contribute to that, you're all welcome. And we're going to make that a new event on our calendar. What else as news? I think this is the biggest news at the moment. I'm going to be in Paris very soon, next week, for this first Soma Tantra of the year, and I'm very excited and looking forward to meet all of you, and then on the journey all over the world, meet you and share with you this amazing experience of Kundalini and awakening our energy of Kundalini. So I'm going to come now to the end of this KARTA time with all my love, all my blessings. I wish you to fly elevate, fly away, fly beyond your limitation, your blocks, and how you see the life impossible. And from the altitude where you see again so many possibilities are offered to you beyond what you would see limited before. And go for it. We'll be there together again and again. Satnam, everybody. Love you all. Until next KARTA time, February. Love you. Bye-bye. Thank you all. I see your message coming. Yes, thank you, thank you. Online soon. Until next time. Thank you everybody.